All right, we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Trent Talks. I got our first two-time guest, Jeff Banek, the Funnel Doc.
What's
He is
up,
our
brother?
first repeat visitor. Super excited to have you back, man.
Thanks, man. It was fun the first time. I'm looking forward to this one too.
Well, I know last time we talked a lot about your history and kind of the process building funnels, but one thing we didn't have time to get into, which I want to get into this episode, is talking about controlling your customer journey,
Right.
and really being able to help people understand the process of planning from the very beginning when you're finding your ideal customer all the way through, like, here's how I close. And if we have time, maybe we'll try and bump into some value ladder stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, man, welcome. Awesome to have you back. This is going to be a good episode. I think it's going to be a ton of information here.
Awesome. I'm excited.
So first things first, customer journey. You know, we've talked a little about this, and I know I see this as in the people that I've coached and the people that I've worked with. It's funny that we just kind of shifted, because I know I initially mentioned, well, where do we want to start? We want to start with traffic. Do we want to start in the funnel?
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned coming back to the ideal customer avatar, which is insanely important, because I cannot tell you how many people miss two things that I see. The two most missed things are, who's your audience? Well, you know, anyone that's this age. No, that's not your audience. And the second part is, well, what are you offering them? Well, just, you know, lead ads. Well, okay, what specifically are you, like, there's the failure to build the offer and then go to the funnel. They say, let me just build up my whole funnel first, and I'm going to do a free plus shipping, or I'm going to do this or that. And then they come back and like, okay, now what are you going to sell in that funnel?
Right.
I don't know.
You almost sort of have to reverse engineer it the way people think it should be.
Right.
Because they think you should be like, oh, I'm going to make my funnel and I'll decide once I've decided I'm going to do free plus shipping, and they don't even know what they're, maybe your offer isn't a free plus shipping offer when you get it all to find out.
If you have nothing to offer free plus shipping, you don't build a free plus shipping funnel.
Right. No, you say that, but it's so funny. I've had so many people that, like, they're trying to, like, literally brainstorm the coolest free plus, and I'm like, your product isn't designed to have a free plus shipping front end. It's not like it's an e-com or even like they have a book or anything like that. But because Russell's done it with like .com secrets and all his stuff, they're always trying to come up with a self-liquidating type offer, which I agree is good, but it doesn't always belong on the front end of every funnel. You know what I mean?
That, I know we're skipping ahead, but with that, an SLO does not, self-liquidating offer does not have to be a free plus shipping offer.
True.
There's a lot of other things you can do. It can be it can be a cheap product, or it can be a cheaper course. Even if you're doing like a 7-day video series, that's like for $15 or 20, it can be a lot of different things. Right. And I think the thing is, we get so enamored, especially those who are in the ClickFunnels community, because ClickFunnels does such a good job of creating that family environment. Right. And we all want to create the most amazing funnel ever. Right. I want people to look at my funnel and go, that's a funnel needs to be featured on Funnel Fridays. Right. That funnel's awesome.
For sure.
Does that funnel make you money is really the bottom line.
Right.
So what's your process when people come to you and they're talking with you about how do we identify the proper niche, and how do we drill down and get over that fear for the customer of, if I niche down, I'm going to lose all my business?
Well, it was pretty amazing. First of all, I'll address that one first of all, the niche down, lose all my business. That's the biggest misnomer or misunderstanding out there. When you go broad, and you think you're speaking to everyone, all everyone out there hears is wah, 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 wah. Now, when you get niche down, they start hearing, like, say you're a digital marketer, when you start going after digital marketers or people running even Facebook ads more specific or whatever, that's when their ears perk up and it goes from wah, 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 Facebook ads, wah, wah, you know? So they start listening. So if you don't niche down, you're just throwing this giant net out there that's meant to catch whales, but every other fish goes through it. You know what I mean? So you have.
Now, with that, one quick question: how do you feel about people that do multiple niches? You know what I'm saying? Like,
give me an example real quick, so we clarify for myself and everyone listening too.
So, one common thing we hear coaches, and we're not going to get into the value of whether coaches are real or not. We're not going to get into that. But people talk about is, well, I want to work with the 9-to-5,
right?
But there's the people who are in their 9-to-5s and want to, lose their 9-to-5, start an agency. And then the other side is, well, I want to work with people who are trying to start an agency but screwing up. So technically, those are two different niches, but the same product can service. So I'm curious on your thoughts on that.
Even with that one, it'd be hard if the products can serve the same niche, go for it. Like I have a client right now.
But two different sets of copy, two different sets of ads.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Exactly. Like I have a client right now. He does software for service. And one of our markets is affiliate marketers and the other one's digital marketers.
Okay.
So it's a completely like different wording, working a different funnel.
Right.
I mean, this funnel's similar, don't get me wrong. I didn't build out a completely different, but all the pain points and different and things like that. You know what I mean? So if over here, an affiliate marketer, they want 100% commissions and be able to have control in how they market.
Right.
Whereas the digital marketers are more interested in using the software and be able to give it to their clients as bonuses and things like that. You know what I mean? So it's a little different, and you
like
have to think about that.
The agency opportunity that I mentioned is very much like, okay, your 9 to 5 people, they're the ones that are going to talk about how much they hate working for someone or they don't like their boss or this and that. The people who are trying to be digital marketers, if you talk about how much you work their boss, you're pretty much insulting them, calling them idiots because your boss sucks. You work for yourself.
Right. And I think that's a difference between the different niches and avatars or just the different pain points and real desired end result. Because as a salesman and as a marketer, we're always like, okay, here's where they're at and here's where we want to take them. So, and again, that deals with customer journey, you know. So, but when we take them there, what problem are we solving for them? And for affiliate marketer and a digital marketer, it's two different things.
Two totally different.
Right.
And the misnomer with that, I think that people, again, to what you were saying, niching down does not limit or minimize your products or your ability to generate revenue.
Right.
Niching down will make you actually relevant.
Oh, most definitely. That's the thing too. You want to be known as the X guy or gal or whatever. It's next to impossible in the days now and age to have the umbrella title of I control it all because there's so much information there. You need to be able to answer those specific questions and stuff. And I've tried it, man. It's really hard when you're helping and building funnels for everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's why now I do mainly coaches, consulting, e-com, stuff like that. But before I was building funnels for everybody's mom and dad that comes in if they want. And man, you talk about the research you'd have to do, learning about all their avatar. You're basically building their business for them if you do it right to be able to know what their funnel is if they don't have that information already.
Right. So what's the first step when someone says that? Obviously, you tell them to niche, but what kind of conversation are you having with them when you're trying to define that process out?
This is great. So one of my coaching students, he's actually a vet. And right now they have what's called compassion fatigue syndrome, where they're dealing with trauma with animals and all that, and it really wears on them. So originally he was like, I'm going to go after other vets. But when we started, and here's what I did, you have to, and this is to answer your question, you have to define your audience and make sure that they want the product you're trying to create.
That's because so often they have to want what you sell, not just you wanting to sell it to them.
Right. Just because I think it's the best thing in the world, that doesn't mean that everybody out there waving credit cards does. So we have to ask the credit card people, the people that are going to make the buy, what do you really want? What problem can I really serve? And we found it wasn't the vets, but the staff that we could serve. So we had to totally and here's the thing, if I let him build out the course and we made the funnel, it would have been the whole wrong avatar from the beginning. But had we not done the research, gone into different groups, sent out messages to people, tested the audience, never would have known. So that's the first thing you have to do is make sure you have a viable idea or a product rather than building it all out.
People have to realize the reason you do that first is you really have to equate it to whatever you want. A car without an engine won't run.
Right.
But that your engine sits on what? It sits on a foundation, on the frame. Right? If your frame is screwed up, it doesn't matter how powerful the engine is. If you have a house your house has walls and everything else, but if the foundation is jacked up, your house is not going to stand up. Right. And this idea of understanding who your actual audience is super key. Right. And it's really important, like you said, to ask the right questions of, do they want this? For example, I live in Florida. We don't build basements here. I might want one, but we don't build basements because the water table is about 4 feet down.
Right.
I could build a basement swimming pool, but that's about it.
That would be sort of cool, actually, maybe.
Thought for a new house.
New niche. But, there you go, trying to break
absolutely. It's totally about having the foundation, understanding. who they are.
Right.
Okay, so once you do that, so your process, you're taking them through and you're asking the questions. I think you highlighted something real quickly there. You're asking the questions to the audience.
Right. Right.
Now, a lot of people say, well, how do I do this to get engagement? Because we see a lot of people, even in the groups that we're in, we see a lot of people, they go, hey guys, I need to know what's the number one question that you have about this. And people have gotten immune to that.
Listen, here's first of all, before we even move on that, one of the things that question, you're right to some degree, has to be restructured, because a lot of times, if we're looking for a broad audience, that's fine. But if you start knowing what your pain points are a little bit more, it's better to be able to give, like, is it X? Is it Y? Is it Z? Versus really broad spectrum, because sometimes they don't know. But if you say, hey, is it X? They're like, now that you mentioned it is X, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so we sort of
absolutely will trigger those points, and they're like, oh, that's totally me.
Right. And again, that goes to knowing your avatar. Now, we're again trying to go just at the very, very beginning. You will sometimes ask those broad questions, but I've learned if we're not at that beginning, if we have any data at all, we want to start directing our clients a little bit so that we can make sure we're, again, starting that customer journey. Because as we start learning, we're starting to already think, okay, when they come in our system, what is the first thing they're going to engage with, or the first thing they're going to do? Is it going to be an ad? Is it going to be a opt-in? Are we taking a sales page? Is it going to be VSL? Is it going to be a webinar? You know, there's so many different things that come next after we define our customer and make sure that we know that they have a viable product. Those are the first two things. And then the third thing is, at that point, we have to decide how we're going to engage with our client. And that starts touching about what we talked about before, about traffic and getting people in.
Let me ask one quick question, circle back to the way you ask your questions. I think the one thing that stands out to me is people need to stop with the generic. Look, I know where we all get it. Everybody wants, most of the people that are starting an online business, they're trying to get some sort of freedom, and it's not always easy. Most people don't have, I know your story, I know my story. Most of us don't have a couple $100,000 sitting in the bank. We can just be like, yeah, I just take my time and go. We all want to make money, and that's kind of why we do it. That's where we get there. But I think that the point that needs to be made is we learn the question from whether it's Expert Secrets, and I'm looking over here because my bookshelf's over here, or .com Secrets, and we learn that, well, what's your number one pain point? And the thing I want to highlight is people get immune to that. Just take a little bit of time and think through how you would actually talk with someone.
Sure.
Like, if the pain point is a veteran dealing with like PTSD, like the question could be something along the lines of, wouldn't it be really cool to be able to be free from PTSD and get your life back and have, full functionality, freedom, financially, mentally, emotionally, and listen to the responses. Versus like, hey, what's your number one frustration with PTSD? Because most people aren't going to just naturally be like, hey, that's cool. It's a generic question. Let me just bare my soul.
Exactly.
You have to connect before they'll open up.
Right. And that was one of the things too with this vet that I'm coaching right now. We were putting out there, because that's the thing. This is a very sensitive subject. So you sort of have to direct the customer's journey and their engagement, because a lot of times they're not going to volunteer the information right off the bat. But if you put it out there, they'll check a box and vote on it, but yet not be the person that's putting it out there. Is that
because them voting doesn't have to be them like saying, this is me. They're just saying, yeah, I kind of relate to that, even though it could totally be them. 100%.
A lot of times in that stuff, you want to have that type of anonymity too, where they're not labeling themselves, but maybe just voting for an idea or something like that. Exactly.
Yeah, they get that everybody else is voting. I don't feel singled out. Exactly. All right. So you start to get the information. You understand what they're interested in. So what's your process, and how do you work with them in going about creating that offer of, hey, now we're going to kind of put the wording in place, put all the copy around. What do we want to actually offer them?
Well, usually now there's different schools of thoughts for building it. Like, I'm going to address mainly courses, because that's like what a lot of people are doing now and stuff, and I've dealt with that a lot. But when it comes to courses, there's two real thought processes. There's like build out maybe like your first module and then build with your students. And then there's build it all and have it and then release it. So I've tried both. People tend to, unless you're super upfront and can keep up with the deadlines, don't like the build with you as much, it seems to be, because like they want to get the information and be able to like consume it now and go.
Some people want to be able to run through all 8 modules in the same day. And
Right. So if you're going to do that, you definitely want to keep it to like a beta where there's only a limited amount of people in it, so you can build it out and then do a mass launch that way. So as far as building out that, the next thing we do after we look for where their avatar is and determine how we're going to traffic, we need to think of like lead magnets too, like getting them in, like how we're going to get them, because here's the deal too. Everybody always wants to run traffic straight to a sales page or an offer. And again, you'd asked about creating the offer, but even before the offer, I like to create lead magnets to be able to get people in to our system. And sometimes creating those lead magnets help us to come up with ideas to help create the offer too. Because here's the deal. When you're creating an offer, it never can be just the course. There has to be other things like your bonuses. First of all, you need to think of problems. They're going to come up while they're doing whatever your course solves. That's going to help them to be able to do that faster.
That's huge. That's something I picked up that Russell does insanely well. He is the master of saying, great, we're going to give you, like when you joined with funnel hacks, we're going to give you 6 months of ClickFunnels, right? And then with 6 months of ClickFunnels, we're going to give you traffic secrets. We're going to give you our offer creation. We're going to, or you go through one funnel away. We're going to include this and that. And he adds all the different bonuses where people are going to say, oh, well, yeah, I can't buy that because of this reason. Okay, well, let me eliminate that reason for you. And if you look what's your next problem? What's the next excuse or reason that you're not going to buy?
If you look at the bonuses, a lot of times they'll be shaped like the 3 secrets within a webinar. First of all, when you look at a webinar, the secret should always be, first of all, what's your new vehicle, your new opportunity that you're going in. So,
why is this different than what they've done in the past? Why is it going to work different?
So like ClickFunnels, what Russell did before is the old way was websites, the new way is funnels. So that's the new vehicle. The next thing you have to think of is your external beliefs. Like, what on the outside am I going to not be able to do? Traffic. So he gives you traffic secrets. And then on the inside, what am I not going to be able to do? Well, I don't know how to make funnels that well. My internal problems. I'm going to give you funnel hacks or funnel secrets or whatever it is.
I'm not tech savvy or whatever. Those are all your internal pressures.
Yes, exactly. That's the other one. I'm not tech savvy, but he's like, oh, ClickFunnels is click and drop. So it's no problem. Doesn't matter. But that's the thing. If you look at that, his bonuses are usually wrapped around those, because once you can knock over each one of those dominoes, it becomes, yes, it's a no-brainer. You have to buy to some degree.
It becomes, all my problems are solved, all the excuses. Well, and you know what it is? It's just people forget this. They try to make the online marketing part very difficult. It comes back to traditional sales. Exactly what you would do in a sales process. You say, okay, I'm talking with the customer. The customer says, well, that's too much. Well, generally price isn't the objection. The price means you haven't given them enough value. 100%. You haven't given them enough benefit so that they feel the price is worth it. So what do? You come back in and you look at that and you say, how do I give them additional benefit, or what questions can I answer that help them be comfortable and understand that there's enough value for what I'm asking? Because if we all think about it, and this is super, super like back to the other side, is we trade time for money. Most people, we all want to get to the point where we don't. But even if you're not trading time for money, money is a trade of your effort. Like for example, if you're creating courses, selling courses, all the effort you put in initially is what you trade for that money. So when we're giving someone our money, we're saying, was this time or this effort that I put in to receive this worth what they're giving me? And I think that's all people have to realize. It's not really a money thing. Most people deep in their subconscious, they view money as a tool. Maybe not like intentionally, but they view it as a tool. So off my tangent there.
No, I agree. When it comes, and that's why I'm good at funnels and things like that, is because I understand the sales process. Realize when people give you objections, this is not a no. It's just like, dude, help me with this problem. And once you help me overcome it, we can make this happen, dude. I'll buy. But I feel like I don't have the time, or I tried before in the past and failed, or X, Y, or maybe if it is money, maybe you need to split it up into payments. Maybe if they can't pay $9.97, maybe break it up into half or 3 payments or something, and then it really. But very rarely is it really the money. It's like you said. It's usually either one or two things. You haven't given up value, or you haven't overcome enough of their self-limiting beliefs that they think they can do it. So if they don't think they can do it, it doesn't matter how much value. You can make it like, I'm going to give you a gold egg. And they're like, dude, but I just can't do it. It doesn't matter. You can give me 10 gold eggs. I can't do it, you know?
Right. You give them a gold egg. I'll give you a gold egg for $5, but I can't crack it and eat it. No, that's not the point. Take the gold egg and sell it and make more than, you know,
Right. So that's the thing. You got to make sure not only value, but overcoming them self-doubts. Like, because I used to do fitness, a lot of times everybody's tried to lose weight before.
Huge in fitness.
You know, so so you got to be able to overcome that first. It doesn't matter how cool your program is. If you can't make them or let them understand that they can actually do it.
Right.
And the same thing needs to come with your funnels sometimes, you know. Like if, for instance, if we're using ClickFunnels, the funnel doesn't walk you through and show you that you can use ClickFunnels, doesn't matter how cheap it is or how good value it is, you're not ever going to buy.
You know, the one phrase that I use a lot with funnels specifically is because people try to understand funnels, and they try to, too often, I think people still view funnels as a one-page website.
Yeah, for sure.
And the biggest thing I try to say with funnels, and my wife's heard me say this a ton, is your sales funnel should be the exact same thing that you would walk a person through if you were sitting in front of them.
100%.
If I'm sitting in front of you, I've had this conversation. You say, well, yeah, what about this? Well, great. Let me address that. This is how we fix that. Well, what about this? Well, this is how we fix that solution, right? Your sales process, and this comes back to what you said, knowing your customer avatar. If I know my customer avatar and I know exactly what you're going to say because I've done this research, then I don't have to actually have you in front of me to have that dialogue. I know your questions, and I can include that in my sales copy.
And that is why your research for avatar is so important, because you don't have the ability to sit across from someone and ask them questions in your funnel.
Totally.
So that's why you have to do that research. You're 100% right, because your funnel is what you would ask someone. If I was doing a weight loss funnel or whatever, you know, I'd be like, well, have you done it before? Where have you worked out? You know, all those same questions.
Right.
They need to be overcome in your funnel, because that's in your avatar's head.
Totally.
100%.
All right. So once we've got the research, we've now gone through, and we've gone through, and whether it's creating the lead magnets. Actually, I got to circle back to that, because people struggle with lead magnets.
Sure.
So people will get an offer, right? Like whether it's selling a course or whatever it should be, but then they say, well, how do I create my lead magnets for that course? Because all the information I have, I just put into the course.
Right. Right.
So how do you take clients through a process of saying, okay, here's all the information you're going to sell, but here's how we create valuable lead magnets that people want to not only, opt in and sign up for, but two, that are valuable enough that they'll actually execute and get a small win on. Right. Because I think that's another thing. If you people don't realize, if you create a junk lead magnet, you just lost that customer.
Yeah.
If they can't get even if it's a super small one, if they can't get a small win, they're done.
Right, because they look at, if you're giving something for quote unquote free, which you're actually exchanging their emails and names for, but in their mind it's free, and you don't deliver, because if it's super valuable, in their mind they're like, damn, this is his free stuff. What's his paid stuff like for?
Bingo.
You know? So, but to answer your question, what you want to do is find out a problem or a quick win that they can get. But when they get that win, it exposes a new problem that relates directly to your course.
Yeah.
So it makes them go, oh, sweet, I figured out how to make funnels now, but I don't know how to do email maybe. So now my course is on email or something. You know what I mean? So it's whatever and of course, you're not doing a lead magnet on how to do funnels, but I'm just showing an example. But whatever your lead magnet is, you know, maybe your lead magnet's the top 3 ways to make, or maybe your lead magnet's how to set up your Facebook group. Sweet. Now I know how to set up my Facebook group, but how the hell do I get people in there? Boom, there's your course. Right. You know what I mean?
I'm curious your thoughts on this. I actually had a conversation. I had Dan Henry on last week.
Awesome.
And he had a really cool theory on one thing. And I thought this was cool. I hadn't heard anybody say this before. He calls it his teach step 2.
Yes. Yep.
Because it's exactly what you're saying. They're like, great, this dude knows what he's talking about. I get it. He just explained to me how to do this second thing, but I can't get to second thing. And step 1 is in the course.
Right. Yep.
Or step 1 is I have to buy his product. If you have a physical product, I can't go out and do this until I have what he's selling. Yeah. And I think that's it. Okay. So there's your process for the lead magnet. People that are struggling, create a lead magnet that solves a problem that leads to them needing your product, service, course to solve that problem.
The next step, again, and that's what we're all talking about, the customer journey. It's a next evolution in the steps. So now I've solved the problem. Now I've had the epiphany. Oh my goodness, I have to buy your course, or I at least want to watch your webinar. You know what I mean? Like at the very least, I'm moving you up to in your know, like, and trust factor. Your authority level has been risen because you delivered this value to me. You know. And
one quick note: don't be afraid for people. Don't be afraid to give away really good information in your lead magnets.
Better the best.
Because it's kind of, you look at dating. It's kind of like if I'm bringing my girlfriend to my parents' house. Look, I want to make sure my mom makes something good. I want to make sure I don't have, if my brother or sister are pain in the butts, I don't want them there. I want to present a good picture so that she's like, hey, that's a cool family. I think I want to be a part of that family. I don't want her to be like, God, they're awful. I'm never coming back.
Yeah, I use that analogy of dating so often when it comes to marketing. It's like, you want to think yeah, it's so awesome. It's like, but you want to think of your lead magnet as that, like, almost that first date. Like, you don't want to be taking them out to Denny's really on your first date. You want to take them somewhere nice. You want to give them a lot of value so that they want to have second, third, and fourth dates, etc. Because if you just take them out to somewhere that's a dump or whatever, for the nothing against Denny's, if any Denny's people are watching or anything, but if you want to take them to a dump or anything like that, there's the chances of them wanting to buy more, go out on more dates, etc., lessen. So you have to think that. And just like that too, if we just met and I'm throwing an offer in front of you and you don't even know who I am yet, you're not going to buy. Just like if we're going out on a date and I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm grabbing you, trying to make out as soon as we meet each other for the first time. Well, maybe, but for a good chance you won't want to go out again, you know?
Totally. Like even Colton mentioned in the comments here.
What's up, Colton? Thanks for watching, brother. Good to see you, man.
What's up, buddy? But even like giving away your best stuff for free, I've tried to explain to a lot of people this, and we know this. Ideas, honestly, are a dime a dozen.
Yeah, for sure.
I can tell you how I couldn't begin to count how many people have had great ideas or a thought of maybe inventing this or that or whatever. They're a dime a dozen.
I'm 12 in the shower this morning.
What's that? You're 12 in the shower?
In the shower this morning, dude. You know?
It's the ability to be able to walk people through the execution and implementation of those ideas. Right. So there's not a problem. Give away your good ideas and good information. It's people see the value in it. They understand that you know what you're talking about. Right. Your ability to implement and execute is what will draw them to you for them wanting to learn from you. That's the key.
Right. Speaking of like lead magnets and Dan Henry, one of his original things was when he was first doing his Facebook ads course, he had a piece of it that he took out and sold for like, I think it was like $7 or $10 called Pixel Hero, which solved the problem of, and this goes back to what's step one. Hey, I know what the pixel is, but who cares? I don't know how to use it. I need your course.
So that was actually, I remember that. That was actually, it was in his, it was
just
right after his webinar.
Yeah, right before you.
It was actually $37. And I talked to him.
You're right. I think
he said it was amazing how many people would opt in and get that one piece.
Right.
Even though they're just now getting it, they don't know everything else. But that one piece they get confused about because it's a daunting, or you think, oh, Facebook pixel, that sounds super complicated. Right. And he simplified that process. They're like, great, but now I don't know what to do other than my Facebook pixel. How do I make that actually work?
Right. Yeah. No, there's that. That's the key is just solving problem after problem for your person. So like when I was creating my course that I'm finishing up right now is Funnel Agency Secrets. I'm like, okay, what is the step? I started at first building it out and went very technical. I'm going to show them every step. And then I went back and looked at them like, but that's not really showing them how to make money. And that's what really people want to do with an agency is what are the steps to get my agency up and running so I can start making money, not show me every type of funnel that could possibly be out there. Yes. So instead of that, I narrowed it down. Here's these 4 funnels that you need to get like local businesses. Here's how you get local businesses. Here's how you start making money. Here's how you have a business versus, oh, let me teach you every email sequence and all, because originally that was my process. I'm going to teach them everything. They're going to know everything. But the problem is you overload too.
Well, I think one of my favorite points that was ever talked about in Expert Secrets was talking about technobabble.
Right.
That is one of my absolute favorite points of that whole book. And it's I think it's like 2 paragraphs. And the book's like 200 pages long, but it's like 2 paragraphs talking about technobabble. And for anybody that hasn't read it, what it really talks about is saying, when you're getting into something new, all you really want to know is, what can I get out of it? How can it help me? How can it fix a problem? Or, you want to be able to look down the road and say, how do I get from where I am now to there? How does this help me do that? Right. So that's all about benefits and solutions. Whereas the technobabble side, and this goes back to what you were saying about the course. Once we're into it and we love it and this and that, I mean, I can sit all day and talk with people about their CACs and your ROIs and talk to people about, optimizing your funnels and how do you get that extra 1 or 2%, or like, I enjoy that part. But if someone's not in it, they don't care about that. So like for you, unless they're like diving heavy into into funnels, the technical side, they're going, I just don't know.
Right.
And I think that was huge that you caught that.
But again, that plays to your customer avatar, because if you know them well, there's certain things that people that love funnels would understand. So my avatar is for funnels. I might talk about OTOs and upsells and downsells, where my avatar is website people. They don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So again, I cannot emphasize, you must know your avatar to be able to have a product that will sell. If
the avatar is insanely huge.
Yeah, it's so important.
Even inside funnel builders.
What's that?
You could have, even inside funnel builders, right? You have guys that are basic, which they'll want to know your OTO, stuff like that. Right. But then you've got the other guys that like, I know all about OTOs. I don't care. You've got those guys that want to know about how you're using scripts from example, CF Pro Tools, how you're modifying using scripts to change what the funnel does and this and that. Whereas the basic guys are going to look at you and go,
that's the overwhelm.
Where's my section again?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too, again, to the customer journey, you have to think about, okay, where are these people in their process? If they're beginners, that journey is way different than if they're advanced and they're trying to just learn some of those few technical things versus a beginner that's trying to learn all the basics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So we've gone through the research. We got our offer we're putting together.
Right.
We're figuring out, now we want to figure out with our offer how we're going to structure the funnel.
Right.
Now, how do you go into guiding them, building out the funnel, like all the steps, structures, etc.?
Right.
Do you go through a value ladder first?
Yes.
Or do you just go strictly the offer?
100%. You need your value ladder first. You have to have and that's why I brought up lead magnets and everything, because that's your first part in your value ladder. Your free part, if you are doing a SLL or self-liquidating offer, you have to have that next, then usually your offer, your first upsell, downsells, etc. You need to have it all planned out, because as you prelated to quite a bit back, the first page is not your funnel. It's just the beginning and your one offer. It kills me. People like, oh, I've got this one thing I want to sell. Man, especially if it's only like $35 or something. Do you know how many of those we're going to have? Not that we can't do it, but just that alone, you need upsells and downsells, and then other offers that you can hit with follow-up sequences from people that have bought. Because as Russell Brunson has always said, and I can't remember who he heard it from first, the only reason people will stop buying from you is if you stop putting stuff in front of them to buy or insult it. That's it.
Yeah.
Russell keeps putting out, I buy everything he puts out because I'm his avatar, Right. Until he upsets me.
I've got too much.
Yeah. It's not gonna work.
I got too much. I buy stuff that in fairness, my wife's gonna hear this. I'm gonna get in trouble. I buy stuff I don't even need. Like I have the 30 days book just because I'm like, I have to have the book.
Right.
So I did a trade, via the affiliate marketing. So I got the book from someone else. They got it for me. So good. I got the book for free. I got my $100 back through commissions. But it's like, it's just crazy. Exactly what you're saying. When they're your avatar, they just continue to buy. Now I want to talk about one thing. It's super daunting when you start getting into funnels themselves. Mm-hmm. A lot of people get super intimidated by copywriting. Okay. And they're like, okay, well, I have to buy and Funnel Scripts is a great software. I love Funnel Scripts.
Yes, I agree.
But I have, I got to go buy Funnel Scripts. Okay, sure. If you want to pay the $500 lifetime right now, I think lifetime's now $700. You have it good.
$797, I think now.
Yeah, but But how do you guide people through that process of saying, okay, I have I have all my research, I've gone through creating kind of my funnel, and here's the different upsells I'm going to look at. Now, how do I begin to structure my copy? Because I think that's one of the hard things. Here's the pain points. Now, how do I take the pain points and put them into writing?
Right. So that's exactly the thing. Most people get into it. They're like, okay, now I'm going to build my funnel, and then I structure my copy around how I've designed my funnel. And that's the wrong way to do it. You really want to lay your funnel out. Okay, so first of all, you always want to start with your headline, which has to be usually curiosity-based or problem solution type based, where it's going to grab their attention enough to cause them to read more or watch your video if it's a VSL or opt into your webinar, you know. So that's the first thing. The second thing you have to, when a headline or whenever the top above the fold happens, you have to have three things. What is it? What does it do for me? And how can I get it? Yeah. Those three things have to be apparent up top, because if I don't know what it is or what it does for me, the third one's irrelevant. But like, I'm not going to keep reading if I don't care, I don't know what it is right off the bat.
And for those missing, up top, you mean above the fold. And the fold is when you're on a mobile phone or you're on a desktop, your fold is what you can see without scrolling.
Correct.
So if they can't identify what it is, how it helps them, above that, what they can see when they first land,
right,
your conversion rates are going to plummet.
Right. Exactly. 100%. And I even put buttons in there that allow them, if they want to go to the sales page, then to be able to go, or the order form to go then, because some people will read the headlines and stuff and be like, that's enough. Tell me more. Right. And other people need more copy to be convinced to go on.
The ABCs of selling, always be closing.
Always, always. And that's the thing too, when you're thinking about that, that's the thing that comes next to your selling process. What is one of the first or the number one hurdles that I need to, or pain points that I need to overcome or point out to them so that I can help walk them through their customer journey? So if it's, let's go back to, let's say with funnels or a funnel agency, maybe I don't know how to make funnels. So it'd be, okay, I'm going to show you with templates how to start and be able to use those to modify them quickly so you don't have to learn from scratch. And I'm going to explain you the basics so that you'll be able to apply them over and over and then eventually be able to grow your knowledge and do it on your own.
Right. Awesome. So you go headline, and then you're writing the benefits, what it is, what it does for them. And then you get down into the ability where you're starting to answer the questions like we talked about, like you're sitting across from someone, having that dialogue of, these are the things they're going to look at. These are the issues they're going to have. Let me solve those problems.
And this is a perfect place for testimonials or social proof if you have them. Because not only are you showing that the problem can be done, but Bob already did it. And here's Bob telling us all about how he already fixed problem X or overcame problem Y. You know what I mean? So then they're like, wow, Bob can do it. And they're able to put themselves in someone else's shoes, because as we know, social proof is so important. So yeah, if you can go ahead.
No, here's a quick question on the social proof. So a lot of people use the testimonials, right? That's everybody does that now because of the value behind it. Sure. Now I'm curious your thoughts, and I personally haven't tested the two against each other, but video versus written testimonials.
So excellent question. First of all,
because I would think video, if I'm at work, or if I work a 9 to 5, I'm in an office, I can't watch it because I can't listen to it.
So that is very true. If you can get them to watch it, video will always be king because it's engagement. They know it can't be fake. If you can't, you want to go with an actual screenshot of like a Facebook comment or something versus a quote, because people now are starting to get immune to that because so many people just put bullshit fake quotes there.
Right.
You know, they'll make up names literally and take an image off of Google and put it in there and be like, Bob Smith said mine's the best, you know, or whatever. And then at least a screen. Now we all know, and I've actually had clients do this for me because I've asked for social proof, and they'll go and you can pay people to fake Facebook post comments and things like that. And then don't do that. Don't do that.
No,
but
the bottom line, look, just with that point, this has been brought up numerous conversations I've had with people. Ethicalness wins.
Yeah, for sure.
Morality wins in the long run.
For sure.
If you cut corners and you are unethical, it will eventually bite you in the butt. And everything that you've worked for, whether it's 6 months, whether it's 6 years, it will eventually catch up to you and you will lose everything.
Right. For sure.
Ethicalness and ethicality, morality always, always, always wins.
Right.
Okay. Off the soapbox.
So be ethical, but where were we? I forgot. So
we were talking about testimonials. You were talking about the video versus the written.
Testimonials, right. So screenshots of Facebook comments, of anywhere else, if it's even from if you're going to, like, one of the things when I do e-com with clients, even though we're, third partying our product out, a lot of times you can find that product on other sources like Amazon or stuff.
Sure.
And if people are giving reviews about that product that you're selling, screenshot them and use them.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing. People will put more value or more belief into a screenshot versus me typing it out and putting it like so many people do in ClickFunnels.
Okay. All right. So I want to go back to the value ladder for a second.
Okay.
We have the lead magnets as generally step one. Generally, your main offer then is going to be somewhere after that.
Right.
And then you have I guess if you look at your value ladder, your OTO is below it. But the OTO, I kind of always pull out of the value ladder because it's something totally it's not something you sell just independently.
Right. We're looking at more of the customer journey value ladder versus the numeric value ladder that most people think of. We're going to zero and putting higher numbers as we go along.
So when you look at so do you stop with that first part, the lead magnet, to the offer, or do you work with them to try and plan long-term on, for example, are you going to have a continuity product later? Are you going to have a high end, whether it's coaching, mastermind, etc.?
Right. So usually it's product, and then what will be the next evolution of that product or something that's going to help them use that product better. You know what I mean? So usually for most of the people I work with, because we're doing courses, the next thing would be either group or like one-on-one coaching. A lot of times are the upsells, because a lot of people get that, but they decide that they'd want to at least have someone sort of hold their hand,
or a little bit of accountability, something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or anything that can help them to do whatever they did, no matter if it's a course or a product or whatever it is, faster, better, stronger. If it's something that can help accentuate whatever the first product is. The key is it cannot be more of the same unless it's e-com usually. So for instance, if we're saying, I want to learn how to get abs, and I buy a course on how to get abs, the upsell can't be more ab stuff. Like new exercises won't work, because in my mind, I bought the course on abs. I've got abs already, even if it's not here and I haven't started.
Right. Mentally, I've made that decision. I have my ab solution.
Right.
So now if I go to do that, all of a sudden I'm wondering, was this solution not complete?
Exactly. That's why you can't. But what you could do is, now I gave him the ab workouts. Maybe I need now cardio or nutrition. So
I was just going to say nutrition guide, supplement, cardio, absolutely.
Right. Secondary things that are important for that first one that help with them to do it bigger, faster, stronger, better. It's that thing. If you can help them to get speed of efficiency and move.
I think what you just said there, that phrase is something people need to ingrain in their head. Bigger, faster, stronger, better. If it can help them do one of those four things, then that's a good upsell.
Right. Because it relates to the course. So it makes sense. So, and that's the thing too, there has to be that flow. Now with e-com, a lot of times, especially if it's consumable, you can always sell them more of the same. That's a great thing about that. If I like soap, there's a good chance I'll buy 5 bars of soap if you'll give me a good deal versus 1 bar of soap.
You just bought a bar of soap, and that is something that has always blown me away from the human psyche. By the way, total side note is that, for example, people will buy a supplement bottle. Mm-hmm. And they'll buy a supplement bottle for $9.99 and free shipping, right? And then you turn around and it can be either just the simple bump order, which works great, or it can be an OTO. And then they'll say, okay, now I'm going to give you 3 more bottles for $25.
Right. Well, because if
people are like, great, I'll take it.
Right. Because if you mind blowing, the free plus shipping, that value, they're not paying for the product. The product costs $20. They're paying for the shipping. So now if I offer 3 for $60, that makes sense. Or 3 for $50 is a deal. I'm saving $10.
Right.
Even though
they're like, well, if I've already bought it, I've already made the decision that this is worth it to me. So from an e-commerce standpoint, they're willing to buy more because I'm getting a discount, we always have that mentality, which is why Sam's excels and, you know, Costco, stuff like that excels so much, is if I like it, let me buy a bunch of it so I can save money.
Better. More is better.
All right. So we've gotten that part. Now we're structuring the OTOs. Now, what are your thoughts on multiple OTOs?
Yeah, that's a great one. Usually maybe like I'll usually max out at like upsell, downsell, and then maybe another upsell. So that being the upsell, if they buy the first one, there'll be another one, because if a guy's buying product A and the upsell, there's a good chance if I do my job right, he's going to buy more, because again, I haven't insulted him yet. Let me put another product in front of him. He's already got the credit card, and ClickFunnels makes it so easy with a one-click upsell. You don't even have to put your numbers in. I mean, that's one thing that makes ClickFunnels so amazing. And then I usually like one downsell, because if they say no, I don't want them to like get in the habit of telling me no. You know, like people don't understand that. Like
you give them a downsell that's just like an insane offer that you're almost guaranteeing they're going to buy, even if it's real cheap. But you're guaranteeing almost they're going to buy. So you end the relationship as you're building with a yes. Yeah,
a lot of times it's better to get a yes and lose a little bit on the front end, because it's programming them to say yes. Yes. That's why even a lot of times when we're doing sales, we'll do that. We'll be like, so could you imagine what it'd be like, again, with fitness, what it'd be like if you lost 10 pounds? Well, yes, I could. So now I'm future pacing them, imagining what's going to happen when they get the results. It's called future pacing, and I'm getting them to have that condition of yes. That's why a lot of times too, when you are doing one-on-one, like I'll be there, start shaking my head.
I was just going to say, that's exactly when I'm talking with someone, you start doing this.
Yes.
And they naturally start going, yeah.
And you don't realize it, but it's subconscious programming of acceptance and saying yes. There's so many things that we do that play into the human mind, that lizard brain that we don't even know that are happening. So we have to be aware as salespeople what we're doing. And like Russell says, this is a very powerful tool. Don't use it for evil. Because if you're good enough at sales, I mean, heck, Russell was talking about one time that there was an experiment where they convinced these people through NLP, sales techniques, all this type of stuff, to actually think that they murdered somebody.
Oh, my Lord.
And they had 3 out of 10 people did it, bro. Because they were convinced, because they were able to do through a series of. So if you can convince someone through those processes to kill someone, having them buy your shit, excuse my language, should be pretty easy, you know?
Should be pretty easy when done right, yeah. But now here's another thing with the OTOs, pricing. Because that's another thing people, you hear people talk about, and by the way, let's not gloss over that.
Yeah.
100%. In your initial offer, that's something people have to recommend. A lot of people will skip their OTOs and say, oh, well, they brought my course, I'm good. People don't realize OTOs,
huge,
and even upsells, downsells are generally just pure profit.
Yeah.
Because you're not paying any ad spend. There's no additional cost to acquire that customer. You're just able to increase your average order value if they buy.
Right.
And that is huge, because we know how do you make more money? You sell to more people, create more products, or sell to the same people, have them spend more money. Wait, I think
so. Now that
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now that we've laid that part, the next real step is the follow-up. Because like we have to, like, say they've gone through that quick funnel we did with 2 OTOs and 1 downsell, and they did or didn't buy, even though we got them in the opt-in. You got to think, like, say we get them in the sales page and our sales page is crushing it, like 10%. You know what I mean? Like, that's crushing it for a sales page. So that means 90 out of every 100 people that see that sales page didn't buy.
Said no, right.
But they were interested. No one walks into the gym if you're not thinking about working out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, these people, they got to your page because they clicked on an ad, engaged with you in a certain way. They were interested. They just weren't ready. Studies show it takes between 7 to 12 touch points for someone to be able to buy a product. What if your touch point number 1 or engagement number 1 was the first time they saw your offer? You got 6 more to go for them to buy. Follow-up's very important.
Now, here's the thing. I think people get confused about how to create a follow-up sequence.
Sure.
They feel like it's just, they don't know how to understand, and I get that it's a difficult thing to balance whether it's Facebook ad retargeting, whether it's email, whether it's all of the above, it's text messaging, it's voicemail drops. I mean, there's tons of different ways you can go. And so how do you kind of work with your customers about them deciding which is the best solution for them, whether they're going full email, full retargeting on Facebook, or a blend of the two?
So usually I recommend a blend, but I always say email, because even though open rates aren't what they are, they can't take email away from you. They can shut down Facebook. They could close down YouTube or Google, but like if you've got an email service provider, you can send out emails,
Right.
And we all know that realistically for every name on your email list, you should still be making at least $1 per email or name on your list. If I have 10,000 people on my list, I should be able, through my offers, to generate $10,000 of revenue through just my email list. So that's why I always recommend people, and it sucks at the beginning because a lot of times you're having to pay to grow this list.
Sure.
But the point is you have to look at the long game. Even if I spend $1 per lead and spend $5,000 to get those, realistically next month, if I'm doing things right, I should be able to market to them and get $5,000.
I should be able to get my $5,000 back from a good email sequence. Right.
Right.
But I think that's the struggle, right? Because email sequences turn into more than just, it's more than just like a landing page. We know what we're coming in to do, right? Versus the email sequence becomes a difficulty in which points do I highlight? What sequences do I highlight? Do I do value in this email? Do I do, a knowledge base in this email? Or do I do authority in this email, or opportunity? Like, it gets super complex. And I think that problem just prevents a lot of people. And they're like, you know what? Nah, I'll spend more money to bring people into the funnels because I just don't understand how to do that part.
I think that the two primary emails that everyone need to have is, first of all, your abandoned cart. Because a lot of people don't even realize, people get distracted. I could be on my phone and I want to do it, but my wallet's at home right now or whatever.
Right.
I want to get to my desktop. Give them the option to have a good email that allows them to open it and with one click, be able to go back exactly to where they left off at. Maybe their dog pooped on there, their kid started crying, or who knows what could have happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to have that follow-up of the option. And it only needs to be, I like to go 3 emails. First email, I'll keep it casual. Hey, Bob, I know life gets in the way. Did our system crash or something? Here's a link to right where you left off. You look like you were super serious and want to get started with X, and I don't want you to not be able to get started with X because it's going to change your life. So click here and go ahead and get started right now. We have exactly where you left off at. Boom. Email number 1, quick, done. Email number 2, hey, Bob, I'm saving this spot for you because the ability to get this like deal that we talked about with the bonuses and all the different stuff is going to go away in time. And I don't want to not be able to give this to someone who wants it. So click here and go ahead and continue. And then the third one's a final attempt where, depending on what it is, I'll give them some type of an incentive or bonus or discount to buy. So it could be like, buy your course now, get half off, or get a one-on-one coaching session with the guy or something like that. But it's a last-ditch effort to get them to buy because any bot is better than nothing at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if I have
I think
50%.
One huge thing about that last email that I think is a good point, and I just want to highlight that I've seen this from experience, just personal preference. I have a tendency to not want to necessarily do a discount, but what I'll do is I'll offer them, I either do one of two things. I'll either do like a payment plan.
Right.
If the money truly is the issue, here's a payment plan.
Good point.
Or if you're just feeling like you need that little edge, then like what you said, a coaching call or something, a bonus to throw them over the top.
Right. I find bonuses work best for info and discounts work best for e-com.
That makes sense. E-com makes sense at the discount because you're not really going to give them bonuses unless you're going to say, I'll give you an extra one, which you're still giving you a discount then.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing that I found. Because here's the deal with info products. The problem is if you give discounts, too often people are like, well, I paid $1,000. Why is this guy getting it for $600 or $800? What did I do to get screwed? Because I paid full value. You know what I mean? Like people will get mad.
especially with info products.
Yeah, for info,
right.
for e-com, it's everybody knows like Father Day specials and stuff. Like, hey, dude,
we don't like it, but we're used to it when I'll buy something at Walmart or wherever I go, you know, or Home Depot, and then the next time you're there, they're like, crap, it's on sale.
Right.
Whatever.
So when
you get mad, but you get over it.
Right. People understand and realize that, but they don't really feel that way as much with a course. Whereas if you give a
really good point
or something like that, you'll be like, oh, sorry, you missed out on bonus X. They're like, you know, I still got the course, you know. Yeah. But if I have to pay more because of this guy, what does this guy do? You know, like, and people really, when it comes to info or digital products, I feel that happens a lot.
Awesome. Well, man, this has been a lot of fun.
It has, man. It's been great
information too.
Yeah.
So anybody, if you catching the end of this, just coming in, like literally go back to the beginning and sit down with a notepad. Because I can tell you this, like I'll go back and think about everything we talked about, because you know how this works. Like we sit here, we talk, and stuff that you're not naturally thinking of, when you get into flow comes out and you're like, dang, that was like, I can already tell you, there's things that we talked about that I pull up. I'm like,
awesome.
Crap, I know I should be doing that, but I'm not doing it. So take time, go back through, you know, literally if you put it up on your desk in your car while you're driving, don't watch it while you're driving, you listen to it.
Right, you do that.
But go back through, like re-listen to all this stuff.
I want to quickly give one more last thing for follow-up. Like people always ask, like, how do I use a messenger bot? Because like they don't understand them so much. One of the best things you can do for a messenger bot is that little chat bubble. You know what the feature I'm talking about? It's called customer chat feature. You put that on your order form and use that as your customer service to answer any and all questions they need. So often, if they could find that one frequently asked question, well, I live in Canada, and if I ship it out, do I have to pay extra or something? They would buy. Use the bot as an engagement tool.
So you use the messenger bot to kind of replace the actual like website chat type thing.
Right.
Because it literally goes, if you're managing your funnel, it goes directly to your phone. It pops up on your app.
Right.
That's a good, great point.
You can't, I mean, you can put people in place and should eventually, but this is a way to automate it. And
you're starting out, yeah.
There's certain questions, as silly as we find they might be, people ask them all the time. Well, what if I cancel early? What if I get sick or something? You know, like these are real problems people come up with. That's the only thing stopping them from buying your stuff, bro. That's it.
And if they had the ability to ask that one question, they'll make the purchase, whether it's a $500 or $1,000 purchase, but their inability to get one simple question answered cuts the whole thing short.
One simple question, dude. You could be losing thousands, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales by not giving them the ability to learn that question.
So I'm going to wrap up real quick. Where do people go? They want to find you?
You can go to funneldoc.com. Go to funneldoc.com/funnel agency secrets. If you want to register, you can actually save for my beta right now. You're getting half off if you want to jump into my beta course right now. And we're launching it live to full price into the world at the end of this month.
For a clarification, Funnel Agency Secrets will...
Funnel Agency Secrets will teach you how to, in 30 days, launch your funnel agency where you will learn how to do funnels, emails, and messenger bots and be able to bill people for it. And hopefully within 30 days have $10,000 in revenue start to be generated.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jeff, man, thanks. This has been a lot of fun, dude. We're going to have to find another topic to dig into with the funnels and do this again because this is huge value, man.
If anybody's watching, because I enjoy hanging out with Trent, we have a good time talking. If anybody's watching and would love to have us talk about something else, put it in the comments and about maybe chopping it up about that.
Yes, we'll get back on and we'll have to talk about it. If anybody's super interested, maybe you can actually convince Jeff and I to get back on and take a peek and tear your funnel apart and give you some suggestions and thoughts and do it live.
Right. Yeah. Let us know.
So
I'm always
interested. Leave your comments below. And again, thanks for the bunch, Jeff. This is awesome, man. Everybody, thanks for watching. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Later, Funnel Doc out.
I really hope you enjoyed and got a lot of value of this video. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below. I'm going to be answering all the comments myself. And also, come find me on your favorite social media platform and tell me what else I can help you with.